Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sporting Mentality. Today we have an NFL podcast for you. We're going to be going over my QB rankings for 2023, and I'm also going to go through the entire league and give you my Hall of Fame locks and some Hall of Fame maybes. We'll get to that though after the QB power rankings. It's been a while since we did a sports podcast. But over the summer, sports is usually pretty dry unless you're a huge baseball fan. The NBA Finals was over. I think my last podcast was in May, so it's been about 3 months or so. But I'm excited to be back. We're gonna be pumping out short form content, edits, all that good stuff, and I'm gonna be trying to do more consistent podcast content. If you guys are new here, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're anywhere else, be sure to leave a 5-star review. And without further ado, let's get into these rankings. So I'm gonna start out. I have 26 quarterbacks here in the rankings, and I left out 6 of them, which are pretty much all rookies. We have Jordan Love, Sam Howell, which we haven't seen enough of, and then the 4 rookies that are starting. So I left those out. And we're just going to go through the 26 starting quarterbacks that we've seen enough football from to rank. And I'm going to start at number 26 and go up the list. So number 26, I have Baker Mayfield. The worst starting quarterback in the league. He has the most interceptions out of anyone since he's entered the league. I heard a report that he had 13 interceptions in 5 practice games or something just crazy. And then the next day he had an interview where he was saying, "I know what I'm capable of. I don't need people to tell me how to play football." So the ego's still there. He's clearly not as good as everyone thought he was going to be. He'll probably never be a bona fide starter in this league, and I think he'll be out of the league within 5 years. At number 25, we have Ryan Tannehill. I like Ryan Tannehill, but he's older now. He's injury prone. He throws a good ball here and there. I feel like he hasn't had enough weapons. So getting DeAndre Hopkins might move him up on this list a lot. But based off of what I've seen last year, I can't put him higher than all these other players just because he's 35 years old, coming off ankle injuries. Mobility's a limitation at this point. I feel like 25 is a fair ranking for him. Number 24, I have Mac Jones. It kind of hurt me to put Mac Jones this low, but he did have a bad year last year, or just at least a down year. And all these other people above him just have so much potential, or not potential, but they're just some of them have more potential. Some of them are just flat out better. Until I see Mac Jones have a better year, I have to leave him, behind these other people because I think the coaching is a problem and the GM is a problem on the Patriots. He doesn't have any weapons. Juju Smith-Schuster is not going to help put Mac Jones over the edge. Devontae Parker is arguably not even good enough to be a number 3 wide receiver anymore. So I don't know. I don't think he's going to take that big of a leap this year. I think he'll have a better year than last year, but I don't think it'll be that much. I'm going to leave him at 24. Number 23, we have Daniel Jones. Definitely putting Daniel Jones over Mac Jones, but I can't put him over our next one because Danny Jones, it seems like he has so much potential, but he's been in the league for 4 years now. We kind of know what he is at this point. I know he had a good year. He just turned the ball over less and all that good stuff, but I don't know. I feel like I can't trust Daniel Jones. If we're going into the playoffs, I'm not going to take Daniel Jones. I'm just not going to do it. It seems like he has potential, but he's been in the league for almost a half decade. I feel like we know what he is. He's a starter, but he's not going to get you, deep into the playoffs at any point, at least not at this point. Maybe he'll get better, but I feel like at this point we just sort of know what he is, and people are still saying he has so much potential, but how long are we going to wait until we see that potential? You know what I'm saying? So we'll see if he gets any better or not. But for right now, I have Daniel Jones at number 23. Number 22, I have Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett's definitely better than Daniel Jones and Mac Jones, in my opinion. He had a pretty solid year with the Steelers. I think they won 9 games, 8 games. And I think the Steelers are a dark horse team to make a secret run in the playoffs this year. They have a good defense. Now they have Kenny Pickett. They have good offensive weapons as well. I really like what they got going on over there. And they have Mike Tomlin. I mean, come on. Hall of Fame coach. So yeah, Kenny Pickett, number 22. Definitely taking him over Daniel Jones and Mac Jones as the younger guys in the league that have been here, for 3-4 years. feel like he's the better out of those two. But I don't think he's better than Brock Purdy, at least from what we've seen. Now, I'm not a huge Brock Purdy fan, but I do have him at 21 here. I feel like a lot of people would like sneak him into like their top 13, top 14. I'm not doing that. I don't believe Brock Purdy's as good as everyone says he is. I know we've seen him throw a decent ball, win 7 games, all that good stuff. But people, he has Kyle Shanahan. He has Kyle Shanahan as his head coach. And he has potentially the greatest support system any rookie quarterback has ever had in his entire life. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Trent Williams. And then on the defensive end, you have Fred Warner, Nick Bosa. Like, you have all these freaking like future Hall of Famers on your roster. So it's like, I feel like, you could put Sam Darnold in that system. He's probably going to be just as good, if not better, than Brock Purdy. I want to see Sam Darnold in that system just to see how he plays. But we'll just see how it goes. But you can't convince me Brock Purdy is better than all these other 20 players ahead of him. After he, like Kyle Shanahan made Matt Ryan an MVP. He made I'm pretty sure he coached Baker Mayfield, and like the 1 year that he did, they did pretty good or whatever. Like they were above 500. Like, I feel like Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive minds in the league, and that's why Brock Purdy is thriving, because not only does he have one of the best offensive minds in the league, but he also has an insane support system. So, I don't know. I'm just not a Brock Purdy believer until I see more. Number 20, I have Kyler Murray. This feels like ridiculous to put him this low, but he's not healthy. He's ruining the chemistry on the team. I don't feel like he's going to be a Cardinal after this year. I feel like the Cardinals are eventually just going to trade him or cut him or whatever, and they're just going to go try and get Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Michael Penix. I don't feel like Kyler Murray is going to be a Cardinal for long for just how he talks. It seems like he doesn't love football as much as other people do, just from what we hear. But he is a hell of a talent. If he could stay healthy for 16 games and keep his mouth shut, I would have him way higher on this list, but we just haven't seen that in a while. So for now, I'm going to have Kyler Murray at 20. Number 19, I have Jimmy G. Jimmy G, he's at the bottom. In my opinion, he's at the bottom tier of like solid quarterbacks. He gets the job done. I get it. His win percentage is like insane, but he's always had insane supporting casts. So that doesn't really say much. I mean, he was on the 49ers with Kyle Shanahan. So we'll just see how he does on a bad Raiders team. That'll probably show us more of what Jimmy G is actually made of. And I heard a report in practice that he had 7 interceptions in 2 days at practice. So, yeah, it doesn't look too good for Jimmy G so far. I have him at 19. I'll keep him there for now. Number 18, I have Russell Wilson. I do think Russell's going to be better than he was last year, but I do think he did have some sort of a fall off. So I feel like that's going to play some sort of role in how he plays this year. I think he'll be like in between like his last year with the Seahawks and the Broncos, like right in the middle. He'll be like solid. They'll probably sneak into the playoffs. Probably, maybe not actually, because their division's so hard, but I feel like they'll have like 9-10 wins, and Sean Payton will keep his job. And I don't know. I just don't feel like Russell Wilson's going to go back to the Russell Wilson that we know. I just don't. I don't see it. But I do think he'll be solid though, and I'll have him at number 18. At number 17, I have Justin Fields. Now, I'm one of the believers that thinks Justin Fields is finally going to take that leap that everyone's been talking about for the last 3 years. I think he's finally going to take it this year. He has some better weapons. Robert Tonyan, Cole Kmet, Chase Claypool, Darnell Mooney. He has a lot of weapons on that team. And I feel like, and they just got a new offensive lineman. And so I feel like if this is the year. If he doesn't pan out this year, they're going to move on. But I feel like he's going to pan out this year. And he's just insanely athletic, and that's why I have him at number 17 over Russell, Jimmy, Kyler, all those guys. I do believe in Fields to an extent, but I still do have him at 17. So, you can only believe in a guy so much. Number 16, I have Geno Smith. I feel like Geno Smith, I want to see another year from him, but he was very solid, and I'd take him over every guy I just mentioned right now, 100%. I would take Geno Smith over every guy I just mentioned. 100%. So I did what I saw last year, but I want to see more. He has good weapons, a good team. I think the Seahawks could make the playoffs this year and do something if they play their cards right. They got a new running back as well, I believe. So we'll just see how that goes. And they drafted Jackson Smith in the draft, one of the arguably the best receiver in the draft this past year. So we're gonna see how that pans out. He might even be better than he was last year. Geno Smith's arm talent is one of the craziest arm talents we've ever seen, ever, even out of college. People were saying that. And now he's mature, he's getting better. So 16, I like Geno Smith. I feel like he can move up. He could obviously move down as well. Number 15, this is where the hate starts rolling in. But I saw what I saw last year with my own two eyes. I seen the 15, 16 interceptions, whatever it was. I have seen him fall off these last few years and not be as good as he was in his rookie year and sophomore year, whatever. I have Dak Prescott, number 15. He's the 15th best quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion. And we're going to go over who I think I would take over him and everything. I don't trust Dak Prescott. I personally do not believe you could win a Super Bowl with today's Dak Prescott. I don't believe that. That's something I don't believe. That's something that I don't think is possible. I know that sounds crazy, but he's had insane supporting cast his entire career and has done nothing with it. Nothing with it. So I don't want to hear no Dak Prescott bullshit in the comments when he has done absolutely nothing to prove that he's better than anyone I'm about to mention. So Dak Prescott, number 15, argue with the wall. He had the most interceptions in the league. I don't think he's going to get any better. If anything, he's going to get worse. And I feel like the Cowboys, if he has another bad year, the Cowboys are actually going to move off of him. Maybe they move off him after this year, but they're definitely, if he has a bad year this year, they might give him one last chance and then he's gone for sure. But I'm not a Dak Prescott believer. I'm arguably a Dak Prescott hater, just because people think he's the best ever, and some people have him in his top 6 on this list. No, just no. Number 14, Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford a year and a half ago had 6,000 combined yards with the playoffs. I feel like he still has insane arm talent. Now, granted, his elbows are giving him problems, so I feel like whenever the elbow goes, the quarterback sort of goes, but we're going to see how it pans out this year. I feel like he still just has insane talent to overcome some injuries. As long as he can stay healthy on the field, he's definitely number 14 on my list. And I feel like, he's 35, but he still has some left in the tank. And the Rams are probably going to be pretty bad, not going to lie. But that doesn't change the fact that Matthew Stafford is better than Dak Prescott. So, there we go. Number 13, I have Derek Carr. I'm a huge Derek Carr believer. I always felt like, he was with a new coach every single year, new offensive, schemes, all that stuff. He's always been just not in the best situation possible. And now he's finally settling in with the Saints with amazing weapons, a good offensive line, a good defense. I feel like the Saints are my dark horse team. I feel like they definitely can make a run in the playoffs if Derek Carr has a good year. And I'm a believer in Derek Carr. I have him at number 13. At number 12, I have Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins on paper had a great year last year, 4,500 yards or something crazy. But he's never going to do anything in the playoffs. He never will. He never has. And with that, I can't put him any higher than 12. It just can't. He's a great quarterback to have in the regular season. He's a great quarterback if you just want to get into the first game of the playoffs, maybe the second game. If you're looking to win a Super Bowl, you're not looking to have Kirk Cousins on your team. It's not possible to win a Super Bowl with Kirk Cousins. That's never going to happen. It never will. It never was. So Kirk Cousins, number 12, I have him right there. I mean, the only reason I have him above Derek Carr, to be honest with you, is because he had a way better year last year than him. But I feel like Derek Carr could have a better year this year than Kirk Cousins. That, I believe that. Number 11, I have Tua. If Tua stays healthy, I feel like he's definitely number 11. He could arguably be top 10. But on the opposite side of that, if he gets hit one more time in the wrong spot, he could literally be retired the rest of his life. I like him at 11. I do like him over Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Dak Prescott. I like him over all of those guys, but I just feel like the injury does not help him. It does not help him. I hope he can stay healthy, because if he can, he's a hell of a player to watch. Number 10, I have Jared Goff. I believe Jared Goff, he's a Super Bowl quarterback, by the way. I believe Jared Goff is, throws one of the best balls in the NFL. He's turned around the Lions, since he's got there. I feel like the Lions are going to make the playoffs this year. I feel like he's a guy you can win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. You can win a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. He doesn't have confident issues. He's like Kirk Cousins without confident issues. So I like Jared Goff a lot. I put him in my top 10. I don't feel like that's ridiculous. I feel like a lot of people underrate Jared Goff. If I had to take one quarterback and say he's the most underrated in the league, I would say Jared Goff is the most underrated quarterback in the league. I don't feel like that's ridiculous to say either. Number 9, despite what he's done off the field, we're not going to talk about that. Deshaun Watson, I feel like he's going to have a bounce back year. We've seen what he did at the Texans. He's a hell of a player, hell of a talent, and I feel like he'll have a bounce back year. That's pretty much all I have to say about him. Number 8, I have this is kind of arguable. I have Jalen Hurts at number 8. I feel like a lot of people have him in their top 3, top 5. Crazy shit. I was looking at the CBS top 25 or whatever, or top 32. They had Jalen Hurts 3. That's ridiculous. Okay, he's losing his offensive coordinator who made the player that he is today. His entire offensive line is 1 year older. Jason Kelsey's going into his 35 age season. Lane Johnson's in his 30s now. Like, I feel like he is not going to be in as good of a situation as he was last year. So unless his talent is actually there, I feel like he might take a slight step back. He's still going to be really good. He's in my 8 spot, but he's not going to be better than Lamar Jackson at number 7. Lamar Jackson's at my number 7. I feel like, you can't put him any lower with his talent. You just can't do it. He's insane. He's insane, and I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan. I feel like he's never had weapons in his entire career, and they've made the playoffs like every year, right? This year he has Odell. I'm excited to see how that works out. And they did draft Zay Williams. Is that his name? I have no idea, but you know what I'm talking about. In like the first round, they drafted a wide receiver. Second round, I'm excited to see him with some weapons, see what he can do. As long as he can stay healthy, the Ravens are A-okay. Number 6, I have Aaron Rodgers. I get it. Last year he had his worst year of his career, but his supporting cast wasn't good. He was dealing with some injuries. He obviously was not happy in Green Bay. He was debating retirement. I feel like he's been very happy in New York. You can just tell in his demeanor. He has insane weapons with Garrett Wilson, and his offensive line is questionable, but I feel like if he can just be Aaron Rodgers with his weapons, the Jets can make a run. I'm not saying Super Bowl, but I am saying AFC Championship. I am saying that. So we'll see what they can do. Aaron Rodgers, number 6. Number 5, I have Trevor Lawrence. I need to see more from Trevor Lawrence before I put him above the people in front of him. But I do believe that he is what we thought he was coming out of college. And that, is, I wouldn't say the second coming of Peyton Manning. I think that's a little ridiculous. But I do think, he's going to be a top. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if after this year we say Trevor Lawrence is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. I wouldn't be surprised. But I have him number 5 right now. I liked what I've seen from last year. He's in my division though, so I kind of have that rivalry Jaguars Colts thing. So we'll just see how he does. He does have Calvin Ridley back, which is insane. And number 4 we have Josh Allen, which might be ridiculous to some of you guys, but he did have his worst year. He turned the ball over way too many times, 50 times to be exact. I'm pretty sure, or not 50 times. He's turned the ball over 50 times in the last 2 years or something like that. But he just turned the ball over way too much. Ever since Brian Dable left, he's been on a decline. I don't know. I mean, the Stephon Diggs stuff, I can't put Josh Allen over one of the best talents I've ever seen, which is Justin Herbert at number 3. I love Justin Herbert. You could argue Justin Herbert's underrated at this point. I feel like he can just sling it, dude. He can sling it like there's no tomorrow. If everyone can stay healthy on his team, if he can stay healthy, that Chargers team, that's a dark horse team as well, dude. At this point, I mean, come on. I love Justin Herbert. He's my number 3 quarterback in the NFL. You can argue Josh Allen, I guess. I just don't feel like Josh Allen's going anywhere. I feel like he's going to stay where he's at. And they said that they want Josh Allen to run less. To me, that's like a sign that he's going to decline even more. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just a Josh Allen hater at this point. At number 2, I have Joe Burrow, and at number 1, Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to argue that. They're the 2 best players in the league, bona fide, no doubt about it. So that's my quarterback list. I'll go over it again real quick. We have number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Justin Herbert. Number 4, Josh Allen. Number 5, Trevor Lawrence. Number 6, Aaron Rodgers. Number 7, Lamar Jackson. Number 8, Jalen Hurts. Number 9, Deshaun Watson. To round off the top 10, I have Jared Goff. Then Tua at number 11, Kirk Cousins at number 12, 13, Derek Carr, 14, Matthew Stafford, 15, Dak Prescott, 16, Geno Smith, Justin Fields at number 17, Russell Wilson at number 18, 19, Jimmy Garoppolo, Kyler Murray at number 20, Brock Purdy, Kenny Pickett, Daniel Jones, Mac Jones, Ryan Tannehill, and Baker Mayfield, 20 through 26. I don't hate that list. It might change by the end of the season, but who knows? Now, the next segment I have is Hall of Fame locks in the NFL right now. I seen Colin Cowherd do the segment, and I thought I'd give my 2 cents on it. He didn't have a few players in his that I think should be in it. So I'm just gonna go through my locks, and then I'm gonna go through my maybes, or like on the way or whatever. I'm not gonna do even on the way. I'm just gonna do the maybes, because on the way is like Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, all the young players. Like they're on the way to be in the Hall of Fame. So my locks for the Hall of Fame in the NFL right now is number 1, Justin Tucker. I think he's probably unarguably top 3 kicker of all time. You could argue number 1. Aaron Rodgers is a lock. No doubt about it. He was a lock 5 years ago. He's a lock now. Bobby Wagner's a lock. One of the best defensive linebackers we've ever seen. Trent Williams is a lock. He's been the best offensive lineman in the league for 10 years. Von Miller, lock, obviously. Jason Kelce is a lock. One of the best centers ever, if not the best. Travis Kelce is a lock. I feel like he's a top 3 tight end. Maybe 1, maybe 2. I don't know. But he's top 3 for sure. Patrick Mahomes is a lock. 2-time MVP, 2-time Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. He's a lock. Come on. I feel like he's already a top 10 quarterback of all time. Even if he retired today, he's a top 10 quarterback of all time. That's how high I am on Patrick Mahomes. The next lock is Aaron Donald. No doubt about it. And I also believe that Zach Martin is a lock, which might be on the line there, but that's how I put him last. I feel like he's been the best guard in the league for like almost a decade now. You know, you can argue otherwise, but those are my locks, and these are the players that I feel like are probably going to make it, but still have a little bit more left to prove. Myles Garrett, he has 75 sacks in his last like 80 games or something insane. He's only 27 years old. If he has 3 more seasons like this, he's a lock. Tyreek Hill, at one point he was considered the best wide receiver in the league. I feel like if he has like 1 or 2 more seasons with 1,500 yards, he's probably a lock. Cam Hayward on the Saints has 115 sacks. He has more sacks than J.J. Watt. And J.J. Watt is an absolute lock. I feel like if Cam Hayward has 1 or 2 more years of solid production, 8 sacks each season, he's a lock. Lane Johnson on the Eagles, the offensive lineman, I feel like he's not a lock yet. But if he stays in the league for 2, 3, 4 more years, you could argue Lane Johnson's a lock. Tyron Smith, I need to see about 2 more seasons with him, and I need to see more healthy games from him. But I feel like he could be a lock as well. And TJ Watt, 2 more years, 3 more years, he'll probably be a lock. Those are my Hall of Fame locks and potential Hall of Fame locks. Let me know what you think about that. And let me know what you think about the QB rankings as well. I'm going to have a TikTok doing my QB rankings as well, which is going to be exciting. Just like, I'm going to run through them, and then I'm going to say, if you want a deeper explanation, you can go to my podcast. But so if you guys want to see like a graphic of the picks, you can go on my TikTok. I'll probably have that up by the time this podcast is out. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching this. If you guys want more podcasts like this, be sure to like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review if you're anywhere else. And let me know what you guys think about these rankings and picks. And I will have more NFL podcast content coming out soon. Make sure you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.